On the roost!
All right.
It's showtime!
First of all, thank you so much to Square Enix for once again hooking your boy up with a copy of Marvel's Avengers.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it means the world to me, even though my videos are just mediocre messes to give an excuse to talk about waifus half the time.
However, this is not one of those times.
Marvel, DC, hell, comics in general have been a relatively large part of my life. I wouldn't call myself an expert by any means, but I love the medium and I especially love the MCU.
Time works real different around these parts. On any other world, I'd be like millions of years old. But here on Sakaar, in any case,
Historically, I've never really been all that impressed with Marvel's video games, excluding stuff like Marvel vs. Capcom, Ultimate Alliance, and X-Men Legends. Recently though, with Insomniac's Spider-Man game, I mean, holy shit, that was one hell of a video game. But if you've been around for a while, you'll know I've previously mentioned the possibility of a Marvel game universe connecting Spider-Man to this Avengers game. I think it's fair to say that's not the case anymore, but a connected universe doesn't always make something better.
You're letting him kill Martha.
What does that mean? Why did you say that name?
Martha!
Let's bring it back a bit. Civil War's success and Spider-Man's return to Marvel proper meant going into 2017, Marvel was fucking huge. But the game side wasn't doing too hot.
Capcom, what the fuck, man?
And you might be surprised to hear that while we got our first glimpse at how Marvel's Spider-Man plays, there was quite a bit of doubt around the gameplay, specifically about the QTE segments. But the biggest doubt came from this mysterious trailer that popped up back in January of that year.
They say the time of heroes is over. That if you're different, you're dangerous. But I know the truth. The world will always need heroes. We just need to reassemble.
Square Enix? Crystal Dynamics? Eidos Montreal? Well, well, well. This has some fucking potential.
And then nothing happened. Until Square's 2019 E3 presentation.
Hold me, Kenny! Hold me, Kenny!
Whoa, 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 hold up. Who is this? Are these the stunt doubles?
Suffice to say, the general reaction was pretty mixed. I actually thought what was shown was promising and was curious to see more. Unfortunately, they just kind of showed this A-Day thing like 9,453 times for quite a while. But hey, the character models got better. At least I think so. But one thing was becoming clear the more and more this game was talked about. Square Enix's Marvel's Avengers looks like Destiny with superheroes.
I never asked for this.
Lots of articles and concerns online arose with worries over microtransactions and the core gameplay loop. Understandably so. I'm sure I'm not the first to say this, but Destiny...
I'm sorry, I just got really tired all of a sudden.
Destiny isn't my cup of tea. I enjoy how it plays, but I just can't bring myself to give a fuck about loot or gear to raise my power level. Which is weird, because I enjoyed Borderlands 1 and 2, and in RPGs, I like maxing my gear and stats out to live out my power fantasies. I guess in the case of RPGs, I usually consider narrative, combat, and world building the main focal point and not pushing for a higher power level. Then whenever I finish the game or really learn the game's mechanics, I go back and ask myself, how can I make Mothman broken? Mothman ain't looking too weak now, huh? Over a loot-based game where the only driving motive is watching that number go up right from the start. Needless to say, I was getting extremely concerned with how Marvel's Avengers would turn out. Now that I finally played it, I can confidently say it's a great game. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but I definitely enjoyed my time with it. I'll be talking about the single player and multiplayer in a bit, but I want to address the microtransactions first. Marvel's Avengers has a pay battle pass for every superhero after launch.
The hell is this shit?
Okay, before I get into this, I should mention that even though I think the way microtransactions are handled in here is good, I still don't like the idea of them at all. So yes, every character has a battle pass with skins, credits, nameplates, and a bunch of other shit I honestly don't care about loaded into them. It costs about 10 USD to purchase, but don't do that, please. You get the first 6 passes free, those being everyone included with the base game. Completing a pass gives you enough credits to purchase another pass, and every pass gives back the same amount you spent for it. With all the new heroes, villains, and stories being added for free in the game, which is a great thing by the way, this means it's actually not that difficult to unlock everything for free. If you complete all of the 6 base game passes, then you already have enough to unlock the next 6 passes. I'd imagine we won't see 6 characters drop in a month, so you'd have time to purchase and get back the credits for each hero in time. It's honestly pretty rewarding for people who really enjoyed the core gameplay loop and are willing to grind them out. I'll talk more about how I feel on the grind in the multiplayer section, but I'll tell you right now, 90% of the skins in this game look like shit anyway, so I have zero desire to grind out any of the passes.
Okay, Mafia Hulk is kind of sick though.
The story starts with our protagonist, young Kamala Khan, entering a fanfiction contest for the Avengers A-Day celebration. And I know damn well you guys have already seen how this goes down 14,605 times, so I'm not going to bother breaking it all down. Although, these minigames were pretty sick. I'm popping off, dude! Having Kamala as the lead for this game was a nice change of pace, and honestly, she's super endearing. I could see her nerdiness being annoying for others, but I found her to be pretty wholesome. High-quality set pieces and a fairly engaging plot kept me interested from start to finish. Watching Kamala's journey from fan to Avenger was awesome to see, especially since I'm not too familiar with her character. Plus, hearing all the heroes talk was just great. Don't get me wrong, there's some cheese in there, and I'm 99% sure I've heard some of those jokes in the movies.
Hey, I think I understood that.
Whoa, 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 Hulk! There's a teenager on this channel. Watch your mouth.
But it never really bothered me, and I found it to be pretty charming, actually.
You're very small and hard to see. There is no need to cower before a son of Odin.
Now that I think about it, my favorite thing about the campaign really was just hearing everyone talk to each other. The voice actors fucking killed it, and the writing was pretty accurate. MODOK was always a cool choice for a villain, especially in a game that looks like... He looks so fucking stupid. Oh, MODOK. You never fail to look so dumb. And while I never thought of him as anything extraordinary like Dr. Octopus in the Spider-Man game, he was pretty alright. By all means, the story was nowhere near perfect. The last third was paced a bit too quickly, and I would have loved to see it stretched by another 3 or 4 or so hours, just to see some more fleshing out of a couple characters. I mean, some of them are literally only in the story for like 2 missions. The only other blatantly obvious problem I noticed was how some of the single player missions are handled. The best ones are where you can tell the level was distinctly designed for single player, while the worst ones are the ones that are so obviously a multiplayer level. There's a decent mix of both, but I think the overall campaign could have felt a lot tighter if it had more of this.
Here we go.
Dude, Kamala feels like amazing, dude. Like her movement.
Score.
She's so, like, I love that. That's awesome. What the fuck? And less of this.
I just got one.
Bro, I literally can't. Oh my gosh, man.
This is so stupid. It's such a tiny little fucking circle and they're just bombarding me.
Yes, like what am I, dude?
If I
These enemies must be defeated.
Also, fuck this mission. Why is there just a random fetch quest in the middle of all this? It was so random. Thankfully, there was only one of them, so it wasn't that tedious, but it definitely stuck out like a sore thumb. Speaking of sore thumbs, man, I just can't stand the screeching halt the game comes to whenever there's a loot box and I have to open the gear menu. This is a minor complaint, but I also wish there wasn't so much holding buttons.
Yeah, the QuickTime events are really weird.
Yeah. It's also like
feels so out of place.
yeah, and like the tutorial pop-ups, like why do I need to hold the button for a tutorial pop-up? It's like, I don't know, it's weird. Avengers is very fast-paced, so it's just weird to stop and look at numbers for a bit. There is this fancy equip best gear button, which is great and it saves time, but it just makes me ask, why is there even loot in the game if I'm not going to look at the numbers to compare and contrast? I guess it's more of an endgame thing.
Oh yeah, bugs. I ran into a few of those.
Sir, S.H.I.E.L.D. intercepted a somewhat bizarre exchange on an old AIM frequency.
I have seen much that mortals would deem bizarre.
Listen for yourself.
That's my voice.
What?
What trickery is this?
Jarvis, what can you...
Yo, abominations in this game? What the fuck?
Disappointing.
Is that
Let me
Sojiro?
explain.
That is definitely Sojiro. What the fuck? What? Where did he go? What? Did he just phase out of existence? What just happened? What? This, bruh. What? Hello? I think I'm gonna reload the checkpoint because that was weird. Did he fucking disappear again, dude? Bruh, what is going on with this boss fight? Dude, what? That's 3 times, dude. What? Okay, dude, you need to see this. This is this is so weird, man. I've had to reload this fucking thing like 10 times. He just disappears, man. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what? It's so weird. I've like never encountered this in a video game before. Like, I swear if it works normally this time. Like, this is a cool ass fight, but like, just no joke. It's like, whoop, he just disappears. I've heard this guy go, "Can you feel it?" Like 10,000. See? What? Dude, what? Like, what? What do I do, dude? What? I feel like I have to beat a timer or something, dude, until he fucking disappears. Kill him before he disappears! As per usual with Crystal Dynamics titles, Marvel's Avengers isn't particularly long, but it's a great ride from start to finish, except that isn't all the game has to offer. Here's when I'm really stumped. I haven't played multiplayer for that long, so I don't know if I really love it or not. The combat is fun, akin to a third-person Ultimate Alliance game, or if you're weird like my friend Justin, you could also think of it as a third-person Marvel Heroes. Now, I'm no expert on combat, but if I had to break it down, you know how in Smash, every character has their own up tilt, side B, etc.? Marvel's Avengers is kind of like that. There's a universal projectile, light combo, heavy combo, but everyone has just enough of a difference to feel different from each other. And if you're really good, you might be like this guy.
Live and let die. Fight! Air combo. Amazing. KO. Air combo. Unstoppable. Beautiful. Air combo.
Charging star.
Hyper combo KO.
Victory.
Player 1 wins.
I've fought in more wars than you can count.
Now, even though you can do some cool shit with combos, specifically on Captain America and Black Widow, it just never reaches the heights of games like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry. Something I came to realize while playing Marvel's Avengers is that when I'm playing an action game, I always thought the combo potential of the characters you control are the most important aspect. Well, I don't entirely agree with that anymore. The enemies you fight in this game are at the end of the day just generic robots. Nothing really challenges you. Even the best fights in the game don't press you and give you the same satisfaction of beating them like the Lumen Sages in Bayonetta or Cavalier Angelo in DMC5. Those bosses are designed to test you mechanically, and as you learn the patterns, it feels amazing to take them down, especially with style, versus what I've been seeing on the Avengers subreddit, which is All of the multiplayer missions aren't relatively interesting, but they're short and to the point, which I like. If I actually want to grind, I'm not going to spend 60 years in a level.
But I am spending 60 years in all these lobbies and loading screens.
I'm sorry, but the UI is dog shit in this game. There's too many menus, and my monkey brain couldn't tell if I was getting into a game for half the time I played multiplayer. Oh my god, dude. Like, I hate that there's so many lobbies. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I was sitting here like, dang, this is a long loading.
Also, why is B continue? This makes no sense to me.
I don't know. I can't truly judge this portion of the game without playing hours and hours of it, and I just don't have the time for that, as you guys know.
I've got SMT to play, baby.
So I decided, let's bring on my boy Justin to talk about it for a bit, since he's got more experience with the multiplayer portion than I do.
So the combat, I feel like, is its saving grace, because like when you think of games like this, you have to have something going for it to make the grind like enjoyable. I mean, games similar to this that use weapons and character abilities find ways to make the weapons unique enough and like have enough variance that it's going to be fun to actually like grind through this game late game. And they kind of do that for some characters. Like I can already see myself getting bored with Hulk because he's basically just a wrestler. Like there's only so much you can do. There's only so many moves he can have.
Okay, I'm watching.
Oh, I'm gonna go do it up to this robot. Watch.
What the hell?
And like Hulk, for example, like picking people up and just slamming them across the fucking room, or like just turning into King Kong, grabbing some dude and like jumping onto the wall and then jumping off and slamming him on the ground. Just like there's so many fun combos that you can tell like they put a lot of time into that. They do a really good job of making it feel like you're the one that's pulling off all these sick combos and you're the one that's like hitting people with the hammer and throwing it halfway across the room and then grabbing a guy and having it swing back behind him. Like,
yeah, for me, it kind of makes me feel like I'm just on a really long like power fantasy or like power trip. I'm just like really fucking broken for like, I don't know, 6 minutes. At least for me, when I'm playing and I'm like listening to fucking lore or killing things, and then I just have to stop to open a box, or Mr. Stark, there's a loot box over there, please go open it. And I'm like, okay, man. So then I go and I open it. Oh, dude, there's a chest over here. Hold up, stop the campaign. Wait a minute. I got a chest to open.
Yeah, the pacing is all over the place on those open world missions. And I'm not 100% sure that that was the way to go about doing it. I think that killing enemies and getting loot is a better way to do it. For example, where those chests are, and they do have this on some areas of some of the maps, but where those chests are, they could have had like a unique enemy instead.
Well, they kind of have something like that.
Yeah, they do have it like that, but they also just have the little rooms that you have to do a really shitty puzzle to open, and then you just kick the fucking chest and it opens. It's like very anticlimactic. Obviously this game's going to be compared to Destiny a lot, and you think of a game like Destiny, when there is like a hidden area with a chest in it, it's actually like, it makes it feel like you're actually exploring to get that. But for this, it just feels like a task. It feels like a chore to just go find that chest that Jarvis is yelling in your ear about.
Well, funnily enough, I think that's because Destiny is a lot slower paced, so I have more time to absorb everything. Whereas in Avengers, I just want to fucking kill everything because,
yeah,
you know, I'm moving like 3,000 miles an hour, so it feels weird to stop and, you know, do something else.
How do you grab? I swear
That's the most fucking Hulk thing I've ever seen,
onto
dude.
a wall before. Oh, do you just hold this?
What the fuck is happening? I think the game entirely rides on what characters are coming out, how frequently do characters come out, what villains are they going to add, like
what
new
missions,
the structures,
storylines,
like all that kind of stuff. I think is what actually matters in keeping this game alive, because what they have, I do think, has a lot of potential. But funnily enough, I felt this way about Destiny. The game when that launched was like all right, but then the game like a year or 2 years down the road is like significantly better after a bunch of like tweaks, updates, and just content releases. I almost feel like this game right now, while I think it's solid, a year or two down the road, it might be amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So long as they keep things free, updates is gonna have a lot over games like that, where it's like, you know, if you're gonna get into this game, you're gonna have to buy expansions. If they keep it free updates, it's gonna want to keep new people coming in. I think that they should be able to constantly come out with new enough content, given the entire backlog of stuff they can dig into for Marvel. Especially assuming now, because something you think of is like, well, why did they do Inhumans? You know, why don't they have mutants? Why don't they even mention mutants and their similarity to Inhumans? And I'm pretty sure it's because when this game started development, they didn't have that licensing. But now I would assume they do, because it's all under the same roof. Whether they want to do paid DLCs as big expansions or combination of little expansions and character releases, or if they want to do both, I think either way is going to keep people like wanting to play it and coming back for the grind.
Nobody's buying an Avengers game to like judge the differences between characters. They just want to play their favorite heroes. As it stands right now, I do kind of feel like I want to play it like here and there, but it hasn't pulled me enough to where I would rather play Avengers over anything else in my backlog.
Well, so to me, like, this is where we differ, and this is where I think it's good that you're talking to somebody else, whether it's me or someone else that has the same outlook. I like multiplayer games a lot, and I like games that you don't like. I like a lot of games that you don't, because of their playstyle and because of their dynamic. And Avengers is one of those games, because I constantly keep finding myself sitting here going, man, I really want to fucking beat some shit up as Iron Man, or like I really just want to smack the shit out of people and throw them across the room with Hulk right now. Like I keep finding myself wanting to actually play the game.
Even though the missions are like repetitive, I know there's like this big thing with people where if something's repetitive, that means it's bad. I don't think that at all. I think if something's repetitive, like almost every game you're gonna play is repetitive to some extent. What matters is what you're doing fun? Is that gameplay loop enjoyable? That's what matters. I don't think approaching a game from a point of, oh, it's repetitious is bad. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think it's so important that they keep new characters coming out. Because for some people, while the gameplay loop is fun in terms of character gameplay, the missions don't really have that going for them. So if they want to keep people interested, they're going to have to keep releasing new characters, I think. I mean, you think about people that sweat these kind of games, they're going to max out every character before Kate Bishop even comes out.
Oh, 100%, dude. I can see that easily.
So you really got to find a nice balance to keep those people happy, because those are the ones that are going to be buying your fucking skins and playing your game for the next year and a half. And you got to keep the people happy like me and you. People that aren't going to be able to get on that much. Maybe we'll do our weekly missions, but might not be able to get all the dailies done, if any.
Is this a game where like you actually do see yourself like trying to min-max your characters, or does it interest you?
Well, so the further I get into the gear, I see that it's got a lot more going for it. Like I'm almost entirely decked out in legendary gear right now. And there are a lot of different options for gear that they really make a difference. Like sometimes the legendary gears are like huge percentage. Like right now I have like 30-something% chance to get a defense buff when I'm attacked. Like that's a pretty big chance. And some of them have extra abilities that as you boost them, you unlock the rest of the abilities. I've gone down in power just because I like the abilities on one more than the other. So I could see myself doing that for characters because I kind of am already. But I think that the variety of gear late game seems like it's going to be good enough. Like something about Borderlands that's really admirable is how many weapons they have and how different all the weapons can be. Like they're all the same pretty much, but there's so many minor differences they can have that you would like significantly over another one. You know, like sometimes you might go to a lower damage gun just because you like the fact that, you know, you can throw it like a grenade when it blows up. There's so many different options for guns late game that you can keep playing that game for a while to where there's enough variety to keep you like paying attention to the gear. And I feel like Avengers is kind of like that, but it's very easy to overlook. I see myself presented with so many different options that like I actually have to make a choice. But like I said, it's very easy to overlook and it's not entirely necessary.
Overall, Marvel's Avengers is a pretty good game. I may be more of a single-player guy, but I can see the appeal in its co-op with how fun the combat is to a small-brained fellow like myself. I can't really recommend the game at full price, but I do think the campaign is worth playing on a sale. I'm so sure that if the campaign was a bit tighter, a bit longer, this would have been right up my alley.
Thanks again, Square Enix, for handing your boy a code, and thank you guys for watching.
If you're interested, my friend Justin is starting his own YouTube channel, and he just uploaded his first video where he managed to get an original NES to run Crysis.
Yes, it actually can run Crysis.
His link will be in the description.
Leave a like if you enjoyed, leave a dislike if you didn't. God bless you all, and I will see you next. Mr. Stark? Did you buy a PS4 yet? Because I don't feel so good.
You're all right.
Fuck exclusivity.